And good morning, and welcome to the Howard Eskin Show on this Saturday morning, live. Again, you can listen to it anytime you'd like. Uh, Live, you're riding with the king. People have already joined from all over the country. It's okay. Upper Bucks. All right, that's not all over the country. That's the area. Well, it is all over the country. Um, uh, Nick from Dallas, Maxie from Las Vegas. Let me see what we got here. St. Richard uh, from St. Augustine. That's obviously Florida. Uh, Charlene from Tarpon Springs, Florida. And somebody rips Charlene. Come on, Larry. You don't have to rip Charlene. It's not right. Uh, Hilton Head, South Carolina. East Providence, Rhode Island. Got people from all over the country. Uh, 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 it's just yeah, it's nice that people join from all, and then people obviously from the area join. Welcome to the people wanting from the Pennsylvania Turnpike. Uh, are you listening while you're in your car? Arizona, that's nice. Newtown Square. I saw one of our local people is somewhere else. Uh, where did I see? Oh, Hilton Head, South Carolina. Brian from Hilton Head. All right. Lots to talk about this morning. Lots to talk about. The Eagles open camp in a month. But I had a question yesterday. I was over at one of my proud sponsors. But before we get into that, let me just thank Jeff Stillwell, our presenting sponsor, Stillwell Financial Advisors. Uh, Congratulations, moving over to Raymond James. It's because he's bigger and better than ever at Jeff Stillwell. Actually, he's always been better. He's always been good. Financial planning, client service, terrific, terrific, terrific. Jeff Stillwell, 732-343-0813. All right. I was over, I forget who asked me, at Thomas Chevrolet. They had a nice luncheon for their employees, which I stopped by uh, and took care of some people with some giveaways, some nice stuff. But whatever the case may be, uh, why I think it was over there. Why are the Eagles signing so many wide receivers? So it's an interesting question, but they always sign. The Eagles always sign a lot of players before camp. You can't have enough players in camp because you're not going to play your starters that much, or time wise, they're not going to be on the field as long as it used to be years ago. But here's another reason. Makai Lemon, their first pick, who was a wide receiver out of USC, Southern California, he missed, the OTAs or the mini camps or whatever you want to call them. It's the camp before the camp. And usually they don't do that much, but usually you can go out there and participate. He missed a lot. He was on the field standing there watching, but he didn't participate. Really, he didn't participate a lot. So I'm trying to figure out, is that is that going to be a theme, or is it going to be a problem for Makai Lemon? He is a small guy. He's like 5'9", 5'10", slight. Devontae Smith is not tall, and doesn't have a lot of weight. However, he he's tough. Playing at USC, I don't know if you get toughened up playing at USC. So why have they signed a lot of wide receivers? They sign a lot of players anyway. It's going to be interesting when it's all said and done at the end of camp. What positions they keep more of and what positions they keep less of. For instance, quarterback situation. All right, unless they trade Tanner McKee, and I don't see how they can't trade, or why they wouldn't trade him, because he's not going to sign with them next year. He's going to get more money somewhere else. I would think he's going to get more money somewhere else, but they'll have him go through camp. So you got Hurts, you got Andy Dalton, which you signed in the offseason, backup quarterback. You got Tanner McKee, and you got, I forget the name of the first round pick, or not the first round pick, the quarterback they took in the sixth round out of, what was it, South Dakota State? Uh, and I think all four of them probably have to be on the team unless they trade Tanner McKee or they release Dalton. Because if they put that quarterback on the practice squad, there's going to be somebody else in the NFL, and you can take players off the team's practice squad. You can do that if he's on the practice squad, and they would probably lose him. And I don't think they want to lose him before they see who he is or what he is. So there will probably be less running backs to start the season on the 53-man roster, whatever roster you call it now. I think it's, well, 53 for a game, but so you have more than that. But it's going to be an interesting situation to see what happens with the Eagles. And again, camp is, what do you learn from camp? You have 3 preseason games. The starters don't play most of the time. What do you learn from camp? Are you going to learn anything about Jalen Hurts? I don't think so. And they'll have camp, and they'll say, "Oh, he had a good day at camp." You know, it's against your own team. Come on now. So I don't know what you learn from camp. You get to practice, so you get ready. You don't. When you get ready, you don't get as ready as you used to get because you used to play more in the preseason. So it's just uh, uh, it's I don't know what they're going to do, but I do know this. I do know this that you're not going to learn a lot. You're not going to learn a lot from the games in the preseason. 2 on the road, the 1 at home. I mean, who knows? Just because it's at home, they might play the starters 1 series just to say people who obviously bought tickets at home, and you got to see your starters if it's 1 series. They don't like to play them last game, but whatever the case may be. All right, the Phillies. Everybody, the fans are excited about the Phillies. Who have they played? Who have they played? And it's not their fault. It's not their fault that they play garbage teams. There's so many bad teams in baseball, and there's so many bad teams in the National League. You know, it's just, if you take away the teams that are maybe 1 or 2 games over 500, you have more teams that are bad than good in the National League. I think the Phillies are playing in the worst division in baseball. Maybe in baseball, but certainly in the National League. Atlanta's the only good team. The Mets, we know, stink. Miami's just okay, nothing special. And we know Washington stinks. How about this? The Phillies beat Washington 3 out of 4. 3 out of 4 games in that last series. 3 out of 4. But they trailed in every game. They trailed in every game against one of the worst teams in baseball with absolutely the worst bullpen in baseball. Think about this. That bullpen is a disaster for Washington, is an absolute disaster. And I checked this, and I think my AI friend is correct. My question, they scored in the 9th inning in 1 game, 9 runs. Then they scored 4 runs, 5 runs. Then they scored 5 runs in the next game in the 9th inning. So I asked, when is the last team that scored a total of 14 runs in the 9th inning in 2 straight games? And it's never happened. It's never happened. Now, is that a credit to the Phillies? I'll give them a little credit, but that bullpen is a disaster. Washington blew a 9-1 eighth inning lead the week before. 9-1 they were up in the eighth inning, and they blew that the week before. I don't know when the Phillies are going to play a good team. The Mets suck. Washington sucks. I maybe sometime after the All Star game, which I'm going to get into that too. The Major League Baseball All Star game. Number one, it's not what it used to be. And I know it's in Philadelphia this year. How about the ripoff? And it's not just the Phillies, it's Major League Baseball. To get a ticket for the All Star game, you have to purchase the All Star game. You have to purchase the home run hitting contest, which is another day, another ticket, and you have to purchase the futures game, minor league players in the futures. I guess it's kind of like a futures all-star game. You have to purchase all three of those tickets, plus you have to purchase a program with that. Nobody buys programs anymore. So this is a way to sell the program because they have ads in the program. So that's why they even print a program, because they have ads and they make more money out of the ads in the program for the All-Star game. It used to be a nice item to keep. It was kind of, people used to save it. People don't buy the programs anymore, but now you have to purchase the program if you purchase an All-Star ticket, which means you also have to purchase the home run hitting contest ticket, and you have to purchase the futures game ticket. 3 tickets, 1 program. It's Major League Baseball should be ashamed of themselves. That's extortion. That's a disgrace. But that's not my main point here. My main point, and this is my main point. The All-Star game used to be all the best players, right? They used to be all the best players. I would say all the best. They used to be all the best players. Not the case anymore. It's a popularity contest. The joke of the whole thing, here's the joke of the whole thing. The joke of the whole thing is you can vote the same person can vote 5 times every single day. The same person can vote 5 times every single day. Now, is that really necessary? It's for instance. All right, I'm going to break down some of these numbers here, and then the Flyers. The NHL draft was last night, or it started last night. First round, the Flyers got a first round pick. They traded, and I'll get to that in a second. But first, let me talk about another one of our proud partners, and that would be Thomas Chevrolet. As I mentioned a little earlier, I stopped by there yesterday. They had a nice luncheon for their employees, barbecue luncheon for their employees. Good time. Took pictures, had a good time. But Thomas Chevrolet is nice. You'll notice when you walk into the showroom. Met a few of their customers as well. Corvette. I saw a Corvette the other day. It was already gone in a couple of days. It was sold. They told me it was sold before it even got there. You have the Corvette, the Equinox, the Silverado, Diverse Tahoe. You got incentives on the Silverado and the Colorado. You got 2.9% financing, as little as new 2.9% financing. 1263 West Baltimore Pike, in business for 38 years. Family owned, service department, a lot of nice people. They can service any make or model. Thomas Chevrolet. As I said, 1263 West Baltimore Pike in Media. Give them a call at 610-566-8600. That's 610-566-8600. Or visit thomaschevy.com. All right. I want to, as I said, I wanted to talk about the All-Star game. And here's the problem. It becomes a popularity contest, and a lot of people in Philadelphia vote. And then they have a phase 2 of voting. It's just ridiculous. But okay, so let's start with catcher. JT Realmuto is hitting like 200, a little over 200. He got over 1.3 million votes. Why would he get any votes for the All Star game? He's not an All Star catcher. He's okay. He's not the same catcher he used to be. Still defensively, he's okay. But obviously above average, good defensive catcher. I don't like the fact that he catches on his knee, and and now the thing is, you bounce to throw to second base because apparently, I guess it's analytically you get it there quicker. But he got 1.3 million votes. All right, Bryson Stott. Bryson Stott got he's second in the voting at second baseman, 1.3, close to 1.4 million votes. Bryson Stott. Now, what is Bryson Stott hitting? He's not an all-star second baseman. All right. Bryson Stott for the season, is hitting 239. Is that an all-star? He's a nice player. I mean, he's okay. I don't have a problem with Bryson Stott, but he's not an all-star. But he got 1.3 million votes. It's become a popularity contest. Okay, shortstops. Trey Turner got over 1.1 million, close to 1.2 million votes. Trey Turner made another error last night, has 8 errors, which is 4th in the National League. Trey Turner is hitting like 235, and he got close to 1.2 million votes. Bryce Harper's not an all-star first baseman, but he's somewhere in the top 4. Got 1.8 million votes. Obviously, Freddie Freeman and Matt Olson are the 2 best first basemen. Third base, Alec Boehm, hitting like 220, 230-ish. He got 1.4 million votes. You have to be kidding me. When you can vote 5, any single person, and there are people that sit on their computer and they do that. They vote 5 times a day. And then the next day they vote 5 times a day. Then the next day they vote 5 times a day. The voting has become an absolute farce and an absolute joke. All right. So I made my point about that. Flyers traded back in the first round. They went from, I think they had the 21st pick. They traded back to 27. And Danny Briere is going to talk about their new 6'7". He's 6'7" defenseman from Russia. Let's hear from Danny Briere.
We felt that Sokolovsky was the guy that we could move back and still get. He was the next guy on our list, but he was also a big defenseman. Something we don't have, especially left shots. We don't have a lot in the organization, so that was a plus. But yeah, we felt there's a little bit of a risk that he could have been taken, but the chance to add a couple picks in a year where we didn't have a lot of draft capital coming into it, for us felt it was worth the chance.
I don't have a problem with that. I mean, and who knows how good these players are? Who knows anything about most of these players? It's just well, the Flyers do. Maxim Sokolovsky out of Russia was the Flyers' first pick. They traded back from, I think they had 21 back to 27, and they got a 6'7" defenseman. Probably similar. Similar to what they could have gotten at 21. So, all right. We will. There's something I want to say about Caitlin Clark. All this furor over Caitlin Clark. But before we do that, I'm going to talk about the Sixers draft. It's just they had a guard. It's not going to change, their ability to contend in the conference. Everybody says he's a nice player, but we'll see. The NBA's different. He can shoot. So, but you can get a lot of guys who can shoot. But whatever the case, let's bring in Marc Lawrence because we're getting closer and closer to the NFL season. Marc, good morning. How are you today?
Howard, I'm doing just terrific. I've got the magazine done, and I have climbed up out of the dungeon, if you will.
Wow. Okay.
Yes.
So I got the PDF. So I
Cool.
started scanning through it. But the magazine comes out that people can get the hard copy. July, I guess, is when you start
Yeah, July
sending it.
4th at Barnes& and Noble, or you can order it directly from our website, either or.
Oh, okay. Cool. All right. So uh, we touched on over unders last week. And we touched on the unders win total. And you identified some teams that you would not go over. If you bet a prop bet, you would take, and I guess that's considered a prop, the over under. But now I saw it's some of the people that you have in the newsletter. They they looked at some college and pro teams that you might be surprised to take an under. I don't know. Are there over unders on college teams, Mark?
There's season win totals on college teams.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's
for
what I
sure.
mean.
For
Okay.
sure.
All
Yeah.
right. So what teams now would you take for the we talked about the unders last week. What teams would you look at to go over the win total this year if you took a team in a prop?
National Football League.
Yeah, we'll start with them.
Okay, what I'm doing, the first thing is looking for value, and I weigh value by what their total is this year and what it was last year,
Uh-huh.
how much of a move there was per se. And the two biggest movers, if you will, from last year's season win totals to this year's are number one, the Miami Dolphins. Last year they were 9.5 wins. This year they're 4.5. That's a 5 win adjustment. That's a double adjustment, is really what it is.
Right.
And they're not going to be as bad as everybody purports them to be. They're not going to win the AFC East. There's no question about that.
Yeah.
But they all dig this Jeff Hafley, this head coach they hired here, and they're really, really a close knit bunch here right now. And I know they did a lot of moving. They got rid of Tua Tagovailoa, which is probably a good move. Willis is going to be their quarterback, but I would look over 4.5 wins for the Miami Dolphins. Remember, 4.5 wins, that's against a 17 game schedule now as opposed to what used to be a 16 game schedule. That's one of the teams I play over.
Okay. When you look at that, did they have a last place schedule too?
Close to, yes. Close
Yes.
to, yes.
So they're not playing a tough schedule. The quarterback, I guess, is Tua still there? Tua still
No,
there.
two is gone, but it's this
Oh,
Willis,
that's right.
who's been up and down. He
Oh,
bounced
that's right.
around with Green
Malik
Bay.
Willis. Malik Willis.
Malik
Yeah.
Willis, right? Not going to go anywhere with him, but at least he can maybe he can be like a quarterback manager for the football team, if you will. They got a really good running back in Chain, who's really, really good.
So okay, so Miami would be one of the teams you would look towards the over. Are there any other teams in the NFL that don't fall into that big a difference from last year to this year, the over under total? But are there any other teams in the NFL you would look at for the over of their win total?
Well, in this same philosophy of the biggest adjustments, the second biggest adjustment is none other than the Arizona Cardinals,
Hmm.
who last year were 8.5 wins. This year they're 4.5 wins because a lot has gone on there. There's a whole overhaul going on there. But they take on the toughest schedule in the National Football League this year, do the Arizona Cardinals. They do a lot of traveling, and they happen to live in the wrong neighborhood in the NFC West. While that would normally be a look for value, I won't touch that because of their scheduling and that type of a situation. But there's one other team that I would look at for an over total, and I'm talking about the New Orleans Saints. And it's a team that a lot of people, they could fly way under the radar, New Orleans. But if you take a look at what they did to close out the season last year, I believe, you can correct me if I'm wrong, I think they won 4 of the last 5 or 5 of the last 6 football
Hmm.
games they did. They're in a real soft division, probably the softest in the National Football League, the NFC South. And you're looking at their season win total for this football team. It's very, very doable because of the division in which they're living in here. I'm looking here right now in the magazine, and I'm seeing for the New Orleans Saints coming into this football season here, uh, we're looking at 7.5 wins. I believe they can get to 8 wins, and largely because of one, they're not going to beat a whole lot in their division. And Tyler Shugg, their quarterback, didn't get a lot of love last year, but he sure put up some very impressive numbers. I think that's because of the schedule and the total here. I think New Orleans would be an overplay here as well.
Okay, prop bets. People love prop bets. It's a little slow right now, so I guess some of them are in the sports books. I was talking to uh, the guy that runs the sports book at Borgata, and I said, after the NBA Finals, because they're so close to New York, they had a lot of New York fans there to bet that. If they're betting World Cup, I don't even want to get involved in how you bet the World Cup, but whatever the case may be. They got to be betting prop bets. So when you look at prop bets now, past the over/under totals, what have you identified some prop bets that you think could be good for people?
Well, right now, what attracts the biggest play are the players themselves. What are the over/unders on quarterbacks for yards, for passes, touchdowns, etc. Running backs the same way. And I was checking in Vegas to find out what the top 5 prop bets have been in the National Football League thus far this football season. And right at the top of the list is Justin Herbert, the Chargers quarterback. His total for total passing yards is 35.74 and a half yards. They purport the value on him to be at 3,780 yards.
Who is this now? Who is this?
Justin Herbert, the Chargers quarterback.
Right.
Right. So they're looking for him. They think there's a ton of value. They're looking for him to move the football, put up a lot of passing yards. He's the number 1 prop total quarterback in Vegas right now.
Okay. And would you take him for? I guess you got to bet what over that number. They put out a number. Is that
the number is 3,574 yards. It sounds like a lot, but it's not a lot because of the 17 game schedule. And he's a tremendously talented player. Just hasn't quite gotten to the promised land here yet so far. And I think they're going to have a big breakout year. The Chargers will this year, and if they do, he can well get over that total.
Okay. So what other prop bets are you looking
at? The
at?
prop is Houston running back David Montgomery stays way under the radar, and his rushing yards are 774 yards this year. Vegas says his value is 1,115 rushing yards this year. That's a big, big jump. There's a big gap there with Houston. And I think with C.J. Stroud maybe taming him and putting him a little harness on him, a little bit better control from him, you might see a much better running game from Houston this year. I would look at Montgomery over 774 yards.
So that's what the number is, 774 yards.
Yes.
Is there anything else that you've spotted?
Yeah, the number 3 guy you're going to like here, it's Saquon Barkley, and they've got him at 1099.5. You can see 1,100 rushing yards for the season here. And Vegas says his value is 1,320. They're looking for a big year from Barkley this football season here. And I think they're emphasizing more the running game than obviously the passing game in Philadelphia, as you probably well know. The odd thing here is they've also got a prop on Barkley for receiving yards. And his receiving yards are really low, 250 receiving yards for the season here. And that's because of the focus being on the rushing attack for the Eagles offense this year. So Barkley factors in this 2 ways. 1, to rush the ball over the total, and 2, not to gain many receiving yards out of the backfield.
Okay, so is there a prop on receiving yards for Saquon? Is there a prop for that?
Yeah, it's his receiving yards is 250.5. And if you want to play that, they're saying go under the total. They're saying the value on that should be 199 yards. So now you've got 250.5 for him. So there's value, 50 yards of value to him for this football season here.
Okay, I'm going to put my 2 cents in here.
Sure.
Just understanding.
Sure.
The offensive line for the Eagles, I can't see it's going to be as good. It can't be as good as it was a couple of years ago, for sure. Lane Johnson is a stud, but he's coming back from injury. He's towards the end of his career. You had 2 players on the offensive line, the center and Dickerson, the guard. They got stem cell because they had injuries. I don't know if that's going to help. Jordan Mailata has got to have a better year. So with that, I don't know that the running game will be as good for the Eagles, but I don't want to go against Saquon Barkley and take it under in the rushing yards, but because once he gets to the second level, he's really good. But this team offensively, the offensive line doesn't get him to the second level as much as I don't think they will. But the receiving yards, I would go over because I think Jalen Hurts in the passing game will be more comfortable throwing it to Saquon out of the backfield, and they put him off in the slot a few times just to change things up. I would go over on the receiving yards for Saquon Barkley, knowing I don't think the running game can be as good with that offensive line. And obviously, you don't need a lot of time to throw to the back for receiving yards. I would take the over on
But
receiving
it sounds to
yards.
me like the over receiving yards for Barkley might be the better of the two.
Yes,
As you say,
I
right
believe
now,
that.
I don't think they're going to depend all that much on Jalen Hurts to move this football. And
No.
Barkley will factor in, but maybe a little bit more so, like you say, in receiving yards out of the backfield than the rushing yards.
Yeah, it'd be
That's a good call.
kind of interesting. Anything else in the prop area that you've spotted?
I haven't seen too much here lately. Now you're not going to see a lot spring out here, probably until they get to camp, when they're making sure players are healthy and so forth and whatnot. There's a little bit of reservation of getting out there now on prop bets on players because of the injuries type situations that we have. So right now, those five are the leading candidates in Vegas.
Okay, college football. When do they start? The middle of August? It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. They can't have enough games on television. The NFL's the worst. The first week, they have games on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I think the Australia game is Friday, Sunday, Monday, in the first week of the football season. And the first game is New England at Seattle, the Super Bowl rematch. The second game, this is how brutal the NFL is. They can't make enough money. The Buffalo Bills have a new stadium. Nice, they put a dome on it because it's so cold. I don't like domes. I love going up there. You got to play in the cold. I've been up there in the cold. It's brutal sometimes with a biting snow. It's just that shows the guts and character of a player. But regardless of all that, that's not my point. My point is the first game in the new stadium. Do you know that game's on Amazon? It's on Amazon. It's a Thursday night game. So now, and if you're in Buffalo, they have to put the game on local television. Both teams have to be on local television. However, the Bills fans are all over the country. The Bills Mafia is
right.
all over the country. So now they got to buy the streaming service for Amazon to see their first game in the new stadium. That's a disgrace.
It's backing the fans into a corner.
The NFL, they can't make enough. Billions and billions and
can't.
billions aren't enough. All right, so let me touch on college football. College football changes so rapidly now because of the transfer portal, and you used to have. There was a nice trend for 17 returning starters.
Yes,
I imagine that doesn't really exist anymore, right?
Exactly. Returning starters almost don't matter anymore because they're just buying players. So
Right.
that's probably a little bit in the rear view mirror. And what they do is instead they look at what they call returning production rankings.
Right.
What those are how many starts the players have comprised of last year, either with this team or from the team which they came from when they bought that player.
Right.
So those returning for production rankings are probably much, much more significant than returning starters. And what's unusual here is no surprise that the teams in college football, the top teams that have the best returning production rankings, come from the Big Ten and the Southeast Conference.
Because they pay the most money, I'm sure.
Absolutely. They've each got 4 teams in the top 10 of returning production rankings. And of these 4 teams, only Georgia and Texas are really good. The other teams are just mediocre, but they're mediocre teams that are building their programs through the NIL and returning production.
So if you looked at any kind of bets in college football, what would you look at?
Well, I like the Florida Gators. I think I mentioned this a little bit last week about John Summerall and the job that he did when he was a group of 6 head coach at Troy and Tulane. 4 years, 4 conference championships. This guy can coach, and there's a reason they went out and got him ahead of everybody else. I think they're going to be a real sleeper team, Florida, and that's 7.5 wins for their season win total here. I think they get over that total here this year. I think they're going to be one of the surprise teams, maybe even down to the wire. in the Southeast Conference for the
So
Florida
what's the win
Gators.
total for Florida? What's
7.5.
is that all it is?
Yes, it is. Right.
Well, I guess because of the conference, they
Correct.
kind of bang it down a little bit. Who are the other teams? So you said, what's that? You don't even know the conference anymore. What they, the SEC?
SEC, right.
Okay, so you have Georgia. Who else do you, is Alabama going to be any good? Is
Alabama's going to be good, maybe not ranking so high in the returning production portion part of it, but they're going to be good. They'll be a top 4 team in the conference. Alabama will. Kalen DeBoer is a really good head coach, and he takes a lot of flack because he's not Nick Saban. And, that's something I think he wants to shut everybody up for in Alabama. He'll be a real good team this football season here. The Georgia Bulldogs will be real good. They'll probably be the favorite in the Southeast Conference, although I think the Texas Longhorns are going to be the team to beat of the SEC for one reason. They spent more money than any other team in buying players this year. Over $20 million they spent for their players on their roster. Texas did. You saw what happened last year with Miami of Florida. They were number 1 in college football in money spent, and you see what happened to them. They went to the championship game. Ohio State and Texas are the top 2 teams in spending money, and I'm not at all surprised if it's not Ohio State and Texas in the national championship game.
Okay, Notre Dame is always so self-righteous, and I don't know what they spend, but they can't just get players to come to Notre Dame because we're the Fighting Irish. Notre Dame's got to spend some money too to get players, right?
Absolutely, they do. And, they probably don't report all of what they spend. I wouldn't be at all surprised about that.
No.
They are number 1.
What do you mean, Notre Dame not tell the truth?
Well, maybe not. Maybe not. They are number 1 in the country, though, overall in returning production. And they will have that big chip on their shoulder from being snubbed in the college football playoff last year. They're going to probably be a team no one's going to want to play this year. I would think Notre Dame will be.
Well, were they snubbed or did they decide? They decided not to go to a bowl game because they weren't in the playoff. Is that what it was?
They decided not to go because they picked up their marbles and went home because they weren't awarded a bid in the playoffs. They didn't want to go to another bowl; that would be too low for them. So they just upped and left. But their contention will be that they should have made the college football playoffs, and things were moved around the last week before that, and they moved from the rankings from 1 slot down to 1 slot. That's why Miami got in. Notre Dame did not. But the truth of the matter is Miami beat Notre Dame last year. So Notre Dame's case, I think, is closed and shut. It's really, they made the right move and put Miami.
Well, if they'd stop playing high school teams and put high school teams on their schedule, everybody puts a Division II or Division III team on their schedule. But it seems like Notre Dame always puts the weakest of the weak from Division III. They probably have at least 3 games from non-Division I schools on their schedule this year, I would think, right?
Well, they do, and I don't know about 3, but the SEC is famous for doing that. Those are layup games. They'll put Tennessee Chattanooga for the second to last week on their schedule. SEC teams will. They're probably they get away with it more than anybody because there's 16 of them. There's only 1 Notre Dame, but the Irish have always taken advantage of a soft schedule. There's no question.
All right, before we go, is there anything in college football other than Florida that you think could be a good either prop bet or bet going into the season?
Well, here's one thing I would look at. I would entertain the fact that there's a yes and a no, kind of like what this crazy prediction market stuff is. And we'll get into this maybe a little bit later down the road. Sports betting is maybe taking a backseat now to the prediction market, the poly markets, betting the elections and things like that.
Yeah.
But anyway, a yes or a no bet on the AP number 1 ranked team in college football. Will that team win the national championship or not? And surprisingly, the last 8 years, the number 1 team ranked in the AP preseason poll has not won the college championships. That's 8 years in a row. That number 1 team is probably going to be Ohio State this year. I'm going to guess. They haven't come out yet with the polls. But you do not want to bet the number 1 ranked team to win the championship when the AP polls comes out.
When you bet to win a national championship, you probably get a pretty good price too. Because
yes, you do.
Still,
yes, you do. Right.
Yeah. So you're still going to get a good price.
Yes.
Baseball, I can't believe people even waste their time betting on baseball.
They're still playing baseball?
Yeah, right.
Oh, okay.
No, we got 3. There's what do they have? 690 games a season.
Oh,
I mean, it's a joke. There's too many games. They got 3 more months of the season after the All Star game. It's just, and I don't even know. I guess some sports books really don't put a price up on the All Star game, the baseball All Star game, and if they do, there's probably a strict limit because you don't even know who's playing hard anymore, and
Or
it's
for how
probably
long they're
easier.
playing. Right. Exactly.
Yeah, it's so like, why would you even bet the baseball All Star game? I mean, it's just if you need action, I
For
guess.
people that need action, you're
Yeah,
exactly right.
and that's exactly right. All right, so the playbook is finished. You'll start shipping next week,
Well,
I
we're
guess.
shipping now, Howard. This is
Oh,
the playbook right here. This is what came out, and we're going to start shipping this out next week. And like I say, it'll be out of in our warehouse. It is right now, and on sale, Books of Millions newsstands starting after July 4th.
so you don't have to pay a tariff on that.
No, so far, no tariffs. I,
See, that's a bit of sarcasm.
yeah, I understand that, and I shudder to have to think about that. But so far, no tariffs.
Okay. All right. If people are interested in Mark's services, 800-321-7777 and on the internet, playbooksports.com. Mark, you have a great week, a great July 4th. It's America's 250th birthday. And there's so many other things going on. Make sure over that holiday weekend, you tune in to see Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce get married.
Oh my goodness!
Gosh. Oh my God. But you will know that they're getting married because every day, 97 times a day on the news, there's something about Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. You can't get away from it.
What's the over/under number on the cost of that wedding, Howard, at Madison Square Garden?
I would say it's probably got to be close to $1 billion, right? No, it's got to be. No, I can't go that high.
No,
No, it's probably got to be like $600 million, I would think.
well, I was going to say 100 million, but and I thought maybe I might be too much, but does it matter to
Think
her?
about that. It's 2 days. You have the wedding and then you have the reception the next day.
Oh,
And
Lord.
they've asked the city to shut down the streets. So I'm sure they have to pay the overtime for the police.
For sure.
Yeah. So it's probably a lot of what's the heck? If we can close down New York City, why not? It's so
It's the
unbelievable.
world we live in, Howard.
Oh, I know. All right, Mark, you have a great week. Take care.
I be well. Take care.
All
Howard.
right, see you
Bye-bye.
later. It's just unbelievable. It's just truly unbelievable. All right, so you got a little head start on the prop bets. Be interesting to see how all that plays out. I put my 2 cents in, but I always put my 2 cents in, just based on kind of a feel for what could or couldn't happen. All right, let me tell you about the winner from last week. Last week's winner of the Mike Schmidt autographed baseball, and he autographed a Hall of Fame card. Raymond Fitzgerald. Raymond, congratulations. You are one of the many that submitted to my website at howardeskin.com. And you were selected at random with the correct answer. And thank you for participating, and thank you for being a listener to this show, this fine show, and Riding with the King. Thank you. And this week, our prize will be Oakley sunglasses. So I might give you, I might take that through the week, but just get it in by Tuesday, June 30th. And if I extend that a little bit because it's a holiday week, I'll let you know. But submit your answer to my website, the contact page, howardeskin.com. We will announce the winner on our next show. And you can watch the show live on X, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, subscribe to YouTube. Winner randomly chosen from all the correct entries. All right. I do want to mention, actually, we have some, do we have, Joe, we have a couple of people that are on hold. Did I see a couple of people on hold there? Mike, you don't have audio, so we can't take you. Got to hear what you have to say. So, Mike, I was going to take you, but you don't have any audio. So you got to make sure you have some audio there. You can try to reconnect, allow your mic and your camera when you connect on the link that we put up there. So now I got to go to Cowboy Dope, and let's hear what he has to say. Hey, nitwit.
I'm always ready to go. Always. Who are these idiots that can't figure this stuff out? They still can't. You've been doing this for like years.
Well, sometimes on your computer, I guess if you don't have Safari, I don't understand all that stuff. It doesn't connect as well. I don't understand all that stuff.
People wish I didn't have audio. I know they all wish. And another
Yeah.
thing is, you've never been cold in your life. You wore that skunk fur coat for years, so you were never cold. You know that being up in Buffalo, you had that fur coat on all the
I'm
time. You were never
telling
cold.
you, I remember one game because you're near the lake there. One game, it was a biting snow, like a wet snow, and the wind was really blowing. Teams couldn't even pass in one direction. The wind was so bad, and it was snowing, and it was a biting snow, like pellets of snow, and it was cold. It was nasty. It was.
Is there a new stadium in Buffalo? Is it retractable or is it just a permanent?
I would hope it's retractable. I don't know, but I would hope it's retractable.
Yeah.
Because if there's good weather, I mean, in September and October, you
Right.
want to have it open. To play football in a dome, that's not the way to play football.
Have you been invited to the wedding, Taylor Swift's wedding? Have you been invited?
No comment. I'm
Oh,
taking the
okay, that's a
fifth.
yes. That's a yes.
I'm
And
taking the fifth.
what's Marc Lawrence talking about? Oh, Saquon Barkley's going to have all these yards. You're all
No,
bunch of
no,
blind snakes.
he's only given what Vegas puts up. It's what Las Vegas puts up. So I interjected my
I know.
my opinion, and I think the better bet is to take the over in receiving yards because it will be easy to go to Saquon Barkley in the passing
Oh
game.
no. Jalen Hurts can't throw a screen pass to save his life. He can't do anything like that. So I wouldn't trust
Throwing it 4 yards. What the
No, yeah, to who? He doesn't have AJ Brown anymore to throw it to. He has some guy named Lemon and Devontae. Come on,
Devontae's the best receiver on the team. He's
well,
really
he is
good.
now. Well, he is
Well, he
now.
was before. I thought he was before. I think
let's
AJ
get
Brown
back.
was good, but I think he was before.
All right, let's get to these Phillies. Okay, they could have easily lost the last 4 games.
They were
Easily lost.
trailing in every one of those games against Washington.
Right, right.
I mean,
that pitching by Washington is atrocious.
the bullpen is.
Oh, it's
embarrassing.
horrible.
The general manager should be fired before the season started.
Yeah.
It's a disgrace. That is an embarrassment to Major League Baseball. An embarrassment.
And so what's happening is these Phillies are their batting average are getting better, home runs, doing all that. No wonder they're getting all-star votes. It's like, oh yeah, anybody that plays the Nationals is going to their batting.
No, they're getting all-star votes because a lot of people in Philly. It's the cities. The people in Philly. You can bet this is a joke and the disgrace of the all-star voting. You can vote 5 times a day. Same person can vote 5 times a day. Some of these morons just sit on their computer and they bet 5 times a day every day of the week.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
it's a joke.
It's
a joke. It's not the best players, because they make money out of the All-Star voting because it's sponsored.
Well, and then they're talking about the new the player the Phillies have, Hill. What's his name?
Hill. Yeah,
Hill. Yeah,
Hill.
like the guy's a typical Phillies player. He strikes out most of the time, so just like everybody else.
Well, the other thing is Chicago. The White Sox were sending him down. He wasn't even going to be in the major leagues, so the Phillies worked out a deal and they gave up 2 nothing minor leaguers for him.
Yeah. Well,
so.
And now let's go to the World Series here. Okay, for you and me back in the day, we could only watch the Phillies. We only watched the National League. So now, you couldn't watch the American League. Now you can watch any game anytime you want. You see these players play all the time. So now it's different. It's not like it's a big deal for the All Star game.
Yeah, you're talking about the All Star game. Yeah, right.
Right. It's like, I've seen these guys play, or the Phillies have played them this season.
Doesn't matter. That's why the Phillies put out social media posts. Oh, vote again today. Vote again today. Vote again today. Vote again today.
Yeah.
Vote for, there are players on the Phillies that are all-stars. Schwarber's an all-star, definitely. Even though he's a DH, he's an all. They're playing in Philadelphia. Remember, he's going to be on the All-Star team. Sanchez is an all-star.
Yes.
Possibly. I don't think Zach Wheeler really wants to go. He wants to go home and take some time off. So he'll request not to be selected, in my opinion. even though they're playing in Philadelphia. So, but they'll take another pitcher. Maybe they'll take Duhan out of the bullpen, and then you got to take Brandon Marsh. I always confuse him with Dominic Brown. Dominic Brown. Dominic Brown had that great first half, made the All Star team, and then he went invisible.
What happened to him? Where'd he go?
Yeah, right.
He's an invisible man now.
When Brandon Marsh is the best hitter on your team, you got some issues. But nonetheless, he's going to be on the All Star, and he should be. He's at an All-Star.
But if Stott or Turner, I mean, it's ridiculous.
They can't be on the. But that's four players. You can't take everybody from the Phillies just because they're playing in Philadelphia.
Right.
Yeah, and they have more players on the. And you try to get everybody in. You can't take more players from the Phillies. So is Harper an All-Star? No, obviously no. Freddie Freeman and Matt Olson are the two first basemen. Right. So, but Harper is kind of egged them on. Oh, I'm not going to participate in the home run hitting contest if I don't make the All-Star team. So he's kind of pushed them to take him for the All-Star team.
But they want if they have the home run hitting contest is more, to me, is a lot more fun than anything else. So they want those people. They want someone like Harper there.
Yeah, it's just
they want the pander in chief to be there.
So anyway, I guess you'll bet the over on the Dallas Cowboys, right?
Of course I will.
Yeah,
of course I will.
You're
hey, one more thing I want to talk about. Have you discussed the whole Bryce Huff, his comments about? Have you talked about that?
No, you know what? I saw it posted and I didn't read them. What were his comments?
Well, he was really putting down the Eagles, the way their defensive coordinator, and we're like, wait, this guy got like $50 million. He had like 3 sacks. He didn't even play in the Super Bowl, and he's putting the Eagles down. I mean, what? Why would he even say something like that?
Well, maybe that's the Eagles' fault, because here's what happened, or here's what probably I think happened. They signed him because he was a good player. Then they don't have the right defensive schemes for him to play in. Mm-hmm. So maybe that's why that happened.
He was also blaming the fans. He was blaming the fans.
Yeah, it's just, you pay attention to those people. He still got his money. I'm not going to get all of it.
Why did he just shut up and just go away?
I forget, where the hell did he go? Where is he now?
Did he go to? I'm not sure. Did he go to San Francisco?
Yeah, he could have. Yeah, I don't know what his numbers were after he left here, but whatever the case.
Well, we got all these excited Philly fans. We got the Brysonites who are happy. The Chiefs
I got
fans. They're all so happy.
One other comment, but I'm not going to ask you. Do you watch WNBA at all?
No, I do not.
Okay, I don't either.
No.
All right, I see highlights because ESPN, which is a terrible network anymore. They have a few good programs, but most of them are garbage. The documentaries, they do a really good job, but outside of that, it's garbage.
To me, it's just I just want to see scores. Scores.
So I only see highlights because I try to catch up on things there.
But the
Caitlin Clark.
Yeah.
Every time it's almost like 50% of the time that she drives to the basket, she always goes down to the floor. I've never seen anybody go down to the floor more than her. And then one of the other, I guess, players in the WNBA are tired of her getting all the attention. And what that player did was wrong. Didn't have to put her hand on her throat. But the reality is she's created antagonism, it seems, from a lot of the players in the WNBA. I wouldn't call it flopping. She doesn't flop, but every time she gets touched just minimally, she goes down to the floor.
Well, okay, but let's go back to the NBA and the Rick Mahorn days and, the Detroit Pistons. I mean, they've got people were knocking each other around all the time. So this is, are they targeting her? Yeah, they probably are. Should she go to Europe and play basketball? Yeah, she probably should. But she's so good for it would be the only reason
she's making a lot. She'd make a lot of money over there and she'll make a lot of money here, but it's just too much. There are some good players that came out of college and now because this is like their new shining star, they make her the new shining star. So whatever. All right.
You're going to be around next weekend for,
I don't think I'm doing the show. I doubt that I'm going to do a show on July 4th. Because people are going to be moving around, traveling, so I probably won't do a show on July 4th. I know you're going to miss me.
tremendously.
Yeah. Okay.
Tremendously.
So probably won't do a show next Saturday. All right. You have a happy July 4th.
All right, King.
And once and for all and
Go
forever,
Cowboys.
stay the dope that you are.
Go Cowboys.
Get out of
Win
here.
the East.
Get out
Let's
of here.
go.
Get
Come
out
on,
of here.
baby.
Get out of here. You know, the shocking thing is that they actually have a decent chance. Washington, I can't figure out Washington. All right. Let me let me just talk about our partners here, and that would be Jeff Stillwell, our presenting sponsor. Jeff is such a great guy. And when you talk to him, you're going to enjoy just having a conversation with him, but you're also going to enjoy the client services that he provides now with Raymond James and the help he can give you in investing your financial wealth. And just give him a call and find out. 732-343-0813, Stillwell Financial Advisors. All right. Let me do I really want to take I know I got Tony. All right, let's hear from Tony. Let's hear what nonsense he's got. All right, Tony, what's up?
Hey, Howard. Hey,
What-
I
what's
think Bryce Harper's starting to hit, the cover off the ball. Looks like he might be getting that 300 average after all.
I'll tell you what, Tony, I'll bet you your life savings that he doesn't hit 300 this year.
I don't have a lot of savings. Well, I still got that Chick Pete card. That's 50
And the
bucks.
reason I say that, they're playing such bad teams. When you start to get into August and September, I imagine they should play some better teams. And that's going to change a little bit. Things are going to get a little tougher in August and September. So, yeah, he went 1 for 22. And then all of a sudden he had a little stretch where he had some games. He's not going to hit
The
300.
RBIs, though, he's getting close to that 100 mark, though.
Close. What's close?
Well, I think he's got 37s, right?
Well, okay, Tony, let me just do some math here. This is why I find this difficult to talk to you. Let me do some math. 100 is 100. You say he's got 37. I'm not even going to check it, but let's say he's got 37. So that's 63 RBIs away. I'll check his RBIs. I think he's got more than that, but I'm going to check it just to make you not sound like a total idiot. But let me go to Bryce Harper for the season. He's got 48 RBIs. So he's still 52 away. 52 away. You're going to face better pitching. And I believe you still have, less than half a season. Let me see how many games. The Phillies have played. Let me check that. Just to, try to put this in the proper perspective. Okay. Phillies have played 82 games. So they've played more than half their games. 48 RBIs against garbage teams. Garbage teams. Okay. Well, the Mets stink too in their division. Come on. The Mets and the Nationals both stink. He's not going to get 100 RBIs, Tony, and he's not going to hit 300. Could he get 80 some? Yeah, sure. Absolutely. But the top of the lineup, you still got to, if Schwarber keeps on hitting in front of him and hits home runs, Bryce Harper won't have that many opportunities for RBIs.
Because he won't get the fastballs.
Okay. I know you're Bryce Harper obsessed, but all right. Anything else, Tony, since you're Bryce Harper obsessed?
Well, how about the Sixers now? You think they're going to go with the 3 guards?
Yes, I think a lot of times they're going to have a 3-guard, play a small lineup, and go with 3 guards because if Joel Embiid plays half the games, it'll be a miracle. It'll be even with the new general president of basketball operations. I don't think he's getting his money for the next 3 years. Does he really have to worry? Is he going to stop going to Shake Shack? I doubt it. So I think they'll play three guards a lot. They'll play small lineups a lot of time, and they'll just try to outscore teams. Apparently, their first round pick, LaFale, what's it? Phylon is pretty much. Jay Wright on the other night said he's pretty much a shooter. So that's what they're going to do. They're going to get to the 3-point
How
line
about
and just
defensive players? How's he on defense?
what
Yeah.
borderline.
Yeah.
Most guys don't play defense when they come into the league. So, all right, Tony, you have a great July 4th.
All right.
Take care.
You too, Howard. See you
All right,
later.
see you later, Tony. All right, let me tell you about another one of our partners before I give you the question to try to win those Oakley pair of sunglasses. Thomas Chevrolet, 1263 West Baltimore Pike, 38 years in the business. Great people, great deals. Corvettes in and out of the door, pre-owned, new Equinox. You still have some incentives on the Silverado and the Colorado, and as low. You can also get as low as 2.9% financing on a lot of their inventory. Great selection, wonderful, terrific people. As I said earlier, I was there yesterday. They had a luncheon, barbecue luncheon for their employees. Stopped by and hung out with them. Great people. Service department can do a great job for you. Any make or model vehicle. Thomas Chevrolet, 1263 West Baltimore Pike and Media. Give them a call at 610-566-8600 or thomaschevy.com. All right, our question. Marc Lawrence identified, and by the way, the Flyers, the draft in the NHL continues. I don't know how many players, any of you know. And the Sixers, I didn't really mention the Sixers, but I just don't think, and they're better because they got another player, but are they good enough to contend? Highly doubt it, as long as they have Embiid and Paul George. But anyway, the question to win the pair of Oakley sunglasses, Marc Lawrence identified two teams in the National Football League where he would bet the over win total. He identified two teams. So submit your entry to our website, the contact page, howardeskin.com. And on our next show, and I don't know, because it's a holiday week and people celebrate on Friday too. If we don't have a show this week, I'll extend your time of entry, but I'll let you know about that. Next Saturday, we will not work on July 4th. No, I haven't taken a day off in a year, over a year. But anyway, people are scrambling around and running around. Just enjoy yourself on the weekend. But submit your answer to my website. The two teams that Marc Lawrence identified to be over the total in wins this year, and submit it to our website. All right. I want to thank Joe Gangemi on the other side for all the technical work. I want to thank Tony Anastasia for all the great graphics work and the work on the website. And I want to thank you for being a part and joining, and thank people from all over the country. Somebody said, let me look at some of these comments. Somebody said the best All-Star game I ever saw was 1987 in Oakland. I think Oakland was 1989. I thought it was Mike Schmidt's last year. Maybe I'm wrong. I thought it might have been in 87, but I know it was in the 80s. 0-0 until the 13th inning. Steve Bedrosian made a great play in the ninth for the Phillies, threw to the plate. How about that? Darn, if I don't remember it. And I was there. I know I was there. Darn. Let me see. But that was a great All-Star. There used to be some really great All-Star games. Used to be. But now guys clown around. Clown around. It's just it's just, it's not, they don't always, they play to win, but they don't play to win. So it's just the All-Star game is again, it's not always the best. There's a lot of the best players, but not always the best players. I see somebody's here from Bermuda. How about that? But thanks to everybody. Thanks to everybody out there that tunes in and checks us out here on the Howard Eskin Show. And thanks for riding with the King. Have a great week leading up to July 4th. Enjoy the weekend. Thanks for riding with the King.